Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mediocre Thoughts. Today, we are going to review my 2025. I guess today is the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, and it is currently 11:24 p.m. I had a day. I was supposed to have a half day off, but I worked ish. And I had dinner with my friends, and we had ice cream after, and then I came home and showered, and now here we are. Things that I thought about today. I hate my job. And it's kind of expensive to be single in Singapore, in the sense that I had dinner with my friends, and then we had ice cream, and I was out with two couples, so I was the fifth wheel, but also not really because we're just a group of friends. But then they shared ice cream with each other, and it was like $7 for a scoop for a cup of ice cream, and I just had to eat one whole cup by myself, and it's $7. That's crazy, man. Anyway, this year's review will be a little more comprehensive, I guess, because this is the first year I have a full year of my journal. I started journaling on Obsidian more consistently starting last year. So this year I have one file for each month, and I also have a list of things that happened to me in 2025. So we're gonna go through that. And yeah, let's start from January. I was mostly in Penang at home because Chinese New Year was early, and I had a break from school, and I skipped the first week of school to celebrate Chinese New Year. We did some spring cleaning in January, and I found a notebook of the notes that people write for graduation, and I found this letter that my friend wrote for me, and I talked about it in therapy actually before yeah, I talked about it in therapy, and I cried because I think I was a very different person in high school. Of course, things have changed beyond recognition, and I used to be really positive. I was just a really optimistic person. Now my optimism is slightly more nuanced, I guess. And I think it was very interesting to reread what my friend wrote for me, and to see myself through her eyes, and see this past version of me through her eyes. Yeah, it was very interesting. During Chinese New Year, we had spring cleaning, and one of the thoughts I had was that my parents' house, it's not my house anymore because I just visit home now. It's just a storage space for my past memories, the past lives I've lived. And it's true that Penang is not where I live anymore. My permanent address is in Singapore. But it's still home, but it's not home home. So it's very weird, I guess. In February, I didn't mention, but I went to the hospital in January because I had gastritis, which is an inflamed stomach lining, and it was right before Chinese New Year. It was Chinese New Year Eve, and that was scary. that was like the first time I went to the ER this year. And in early January, I also had a trip with my friends. My friends came to visit Penang, and I hung out with them, which was very fun. I miss them. I drove them around, which was fun. I miss driving. Yeah, anyway, so that was January. Then in February, I went to a concert with a hinge date. And it was awkward, to say the least. I think you shouldn't go to a concert for your first date because you can't speak, you can't talk to each other, you can't really get to know each other very well, and it's just not the best. It's just so awkward. I feel. On 10th of February 2025, I wrote, I feel a lot of impulse to punch something, which is when I'm angry, whenever I'm embarrassed or feel very incompetent or stressed. When trying to notice when I'm lonely, I realize I don't really have moments when I really feel lonely. This was during my therapy era. I went to therapy earlier this year, and I made an episode about graduating from therapy. So I think in my first session, I kept talking about how lonely I felt, which was when after my breakup last year, I felt a lot of loneliness. Then I brought it up during therapy, but then when I was starting therapy, I was starting to feel better in a sense, because my therapist told me to try to notice when I'm lonely, like when I feel loneliness. And then I realized that when I was trying to notice when I actually feel lonely, I don't really have times when I feel lonely anymore. Life is weird, life is complex. Life doesn't have to be complicated, but most of the time it is. And it's interesting for it to be complicated. So I guess it really just depends on what life you want to live. Okay, a lot of thoughts in February. This was during term 8, my final term in uni. And interesting. I took a film class where we had to watch movies for homework. And I watched In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. It's my thoughts on it are, it's such a sad and lonely story. Maggie Chung is so hot. Tony Leung is so hot. Some quotes from the movie, it's just a rehearsal. We're not like them. I thought so too. Feelings just happen. This is interesting. I was really grateful that I can kind of understand Cantonese. So the movie felt more intimate, I feel. Okay. Okay, so there's this part where I wrote about what happened after my therapy session. This is on the 21st of February. So I mentioned the mirror analogy to my therapist, the different facets of myself. This was when I this is when I learned how to change my perspective of loneliness as a problem to solve, how to stop feeling that way, changing it to realizing that it's a need for connection, and thinking about how I can fulfill that need rather than thinking of it as a problem to solve. It literally sounds like it's the same thing, but I think it really helped me deal with my emotions, which was interesting. It was very interesting. Emotions as pointers and not something to be fixed. That was the main lesson from therapy. What I feel they're not problems to be solved. They will point me to the actual things that I need to solve. yeah. Yeah, there's this section of post-therapy reflection. My younger self deserves kindness. She wasn't pathetic in her acts of self-harm because she was just trying her best. She was helpless, afraid, anxious, sad, worried, frustrated, alone. Wow, so many things. Always worried that my friend um would harm herself. Helpless that she couldn't help her friends at the time. Frustrated that she didn't have much control over her life. She hated teaching kids who were annoying. She didn't have anyone to talk to. She was navigating her feelings for her crush while trying to make sure she doesn't die. If the ability of connecting with other people came at the expense of losing the understanding of myself, do I still want that? I disagree with that, I guess. Connecting with other people doesn't come at the expense of losing the understanding of myself. Why would it? It wouldn't. Just because you can empathize doesn't mean you lose yourself. What the fuck, Nelly? Yeah, okay, I had this issue of being able to, I guess, connect with people better because I kind of mirror them in a way, which is the basis of my mirror analogy, where I kind of reflect the images of every person I interact with. So I can't really know who I am when I'm by myself, when I'm not interacting with anyone else. I feel like honestly that's not really an issue. So what? Is what I feel now, I guess, reading this part. Am I learning? I don't know. A dynamic / fluid sense of self is still a sense of self. Nothing wrong with that. One of the things I really liked about my therapist was that she told me to stay with the feelings when I felt something, and she asked me to slow down and explore whatever my emotion was. I think that was really helpful. Yeah. On the 24th of February, I wrote, "Who am I?" And then a list of 3 items: a good friend, a kind and gentle person, someone who can't take sarcasm for shit. I don't know why I wrote this. And I also included a quote from a podcast that I listen to a lot. It's called Dear Hank and John by Hank and John Green. The quote is, "Consciousness is a lie that we tell ourselves to go on." Okay, so that's February. What happened in February? Yeah, I went to a concert, started my therapy session. My first one was on the 7th of February. Okay. Did anything happen in March? I have issues with I had issues with studying. I had gastritis again and went to the clinic. There's this quote that I wrote on the 3rd of March. "Nothing to make you be in the present like pain." Like pain kind of grounds you to the present. Grounds me. Because I remember thinking while waiting at the clinic to see the doctor, I was suffering, but I was very present in the moment because I kept feeling the pain. It's quite interesting. Okay, there's also this section where I was thinking about being friends again with my ex, which is crazy. I guess I was grieving, but also like, holy shit, this is stupid. I don't want to be friends with him. Okay, and then there were also some questions big questions. What makes people likable? And consciousness is just a string of memories, past and present. I think throughout this year, there was a lot of noticing that it's kind of crazy where I am in life right now. Like, there was a lot of change in this year, but if I isolated moments in this year, you can't really tell how I got from here to there. But then it happened. It's true that it happened. In April, I had my surgery. I went to the ER again in April, twice. First time, I thought I had gastritis, so the doctor gave me a lot of I don't know what that thing is called, but it's kind of like to neutralize the acid in my stomach. First time was gastritis, and then the second time I found out I had an inflamed gallbladder, so I had my surgery on 8th of April. And I called my mom when I was at the ER. I called my mom when I was at the ER, and I think it's quite interesting. Not that it's interesting to call my mom, but she was also at the hospital at the time, bringing my grandma for an appointment. But yeah, got my gallbladder removed in Singapore. And then after that, I stayed at my aunt's house for a bit. On the 14th of April, I wrote, 我好像一直都很怕没有朋友这件事, which translates to, I think I've always been really scared of the fact that, I've always been really scared of not having friends, which is true since high school. I guess I never really had like a very tight-knit friend group as other people might have had. That's why I was kind of scared, I guess. Oh, I started crying. I cried a lot this year, actually. I cried a lot. I got heartburn as I was recovering from my gallbladder surgery, and getting heartburn felt really, really bad because I got really uncomfortable. And I feel one thing I learned about myself this year is I am really bad at dealing with physical discomfort. Every time I'm in slight physical discomfort, I just feel like killing myself. Like, my brain goes to the thought of killing myself really, really quickly when I'm in like slight discomfort. So I don't think that's very good. But yeah, anyway. I went on a few first dates too. I had a few good conversations this year with people I met, like new people I met. I met quite a few new people this year, I feel. Not as much. I don't know if it's as much as last year. But yeah, I had a few good conversations, which is interesting because I think I used to seek out conversations, like good conversations, a lot more. But in this year, I didn't really seek them out. They just came to me, which is nice. I've talked to a few people. There's this line, I am pleasantly surprised by all the new experiences I get. I used to think I'll die before I'm old, but because of these experiences, I might think twice. Interesting. I forgot about this. Wow. There's this line I wrote: I feel like if my parents knew who I am now, they would be proud of me, and that's the whole point of life for me, really. I don't feel proud of myself now. I think looking back on these journal entries, it definitely feels like it's a different person. I don't remember being... Do I remember being this person? Not sure. Not sure at all. Okay, in May is when I finished my final semester in school, and then I went home quite immediately after my final paper. And yeah, that felt good, I think. In May, I was home in Penang for like the entire month almost, and I watched quite a lot of movies with this guy I met on Hinge. We called on Discord and then just watched a lot of movies. It's just quite interesting. I have a thing. I have a really big, not really big thing, but my type is people with a good voice. Definitely. Because this guy, all I remember, like, I feel like not the one good thing, but the one thing that made him really attractive was his voice, which is embarrassing. But yeah, anyway. One of my cousins got engaged in May, and I went to the party as well. And then went to KL for a bit. To meet my friends from A-levels. I also met oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this part. I met quite a few friends from A-levels, which is nice. Very, very nice. Why do I feel the need to live loudly was a question I posed to myself this year. Because doing this, being semi-active on social media, sometimes I feel like I'm asking for attention. Like, I'm just, I'm being an attention seeker. But also, who cares, man? Who fucking cares? Anyway. Yeah, interesting. I went for a few facial appointments in May as well, which is fun. I think, like, meeting quite a few old friends in Penang, one feeling I had was feeling like an intruder in my friends' lives, because I'm just visiting in Penang rather than living there. And I didn't like that, but I guess that's just part of life, part of living abroad. Oh my gosh, I also went bouldering with a high school friend because we matched on Hinge. That was crazy. He's attached now, which is great. Congrats. Very happy for him. I also went to Escape, which is a obstacle course kind of thing. That was so fun. Oh my gosh, May was so fun. I keep thinking I want to date. I want to be in a relationship, which I do, because I don't really like being single. But yeah, maybe I should be single for a bit. On the 26th of May, which is my dad's birthday, I wrote, "People are so interesting when you're interested." Duh. I wrote, "To know you're loved and to feel you're loved are two very different experiences," on my April dump on Instagram. And I found the words to explain what I mean today because of something my dad did. So my dad bought some Kit Kat to get this Hello Kitty free mug for me so I can bring it to Singapore to my new place. I didn't bring it. It's really cute, and I probably would have done the same, buying the Kit Kat just for the free mug if I was alone. But also not really, because I've been trying to under consume these days, especially after my ex, who judged me a bit for buying stuff just for free stuff. I don't really need the mug. I don't even really want the mug. But I know my dad did it out of love for me. Hence, I know I'm loved. But I don't feel loved because I didn't want the cup, which is a really interesting experience. And then I met one of my oldest friends and his girlfriend, which was nice, but also I don't really know what's happening there right now. Oh, we made bajang. Bajang is glutinous rice dumplings at my aunt's house. It was great. I love seeing my mom with her sisters, because we made the dumplings with my mom and my aunt. So very interesting. I love driving my mom around. Interesting. What happened in May? Okay, yeah. So after May, the whole of May, I was in Penang. Then I came back to Singapore for my graduation. That was in early June. And I went for a trip in Vietnam with my friends as a graduation trip. And then I started work in June. 11th of June was my first day at work. And yeah, it's December. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know. June, July. I struggled with a lot of feelings of anxiety and incompetence in the early stages of my job. Actually, I do still kind of feel that, but it's a bit more in the background now. Didn't really write that much in June, July, and August, because things feel like they were stagnant-ish, because I just started work, and then every day was just work, come home, work, come home, hang out with friends maybe once, twice. I hung out with my friends a lot more in the early days of my work. These days I barely hang out with them anymore, because everyone's busy, I guess, and honestly, work drains so much out of me that I can barely handle a hangout anymore. Yeah. I thought of being kind to everyone includes being kind to myself in August. What happened in August? Oh, I also I went to my friend's house and I drank like 3.5 bottles of soju in a night, just to see how much I can drink. I realized that I drank a lot this year. I cried a lot this year. Life is so crazy. Looking back at all this, it's quite interesting. That was August. In September, yeah, didn't really do much, I guess. Planned a trip to Chicago. I bought my flight tickets and I applied for a visa, and then bought flight tickets. In October, I caught a cockroach in my house because both my housemates were scared. I'm also scared, but I'm less scared when other people are more scared than me. And there's a lot of thoughts on the guy that I was seeing. Things like, I really like the guy, and how I'm not sure if it will work out. I cried calling my mom, talking about work. Okay, so that was October. And then November was when I went to Chicago. I think my issue with moving on from people, from exes, is that usually what happens is either I don't like them anymore, or they just suck. Like, there's a reason to dislike them, to stop liking them. But this time, I don't have a reason to move on. Which is making it a little hard. But it's okay. I can do hard things. I was really pathetic, I think. Because I think I was the bigger yearner, which is always not pathetic, but puts me at a disadvantage. But also, relationships shouldn't be about winning. But also, yeah. Interesting. I think it's very hard to look at people objectively. Of course, it's hard. It's hard to see things objectively when feelings are so real. I think in November is when I applied for a new job as a tuition teacher, and I got an offer, but I'm currently applying for PR, and it's better to just stay at my job while my PR is processing. I think it's all speculation, but yeah, so many things happened this year. I graduated, got my first job, got my second job offer. Things are weird. Life is weird. I cried so much. There's a video of myself crying for like half an hour. Just from last week, I think. I was crying about work, obviously, but also how I feel like I have betrayed myself. And the entire video is mostly just me talking about how I feel like I'm torturing myself by putting myself through this job that I don't like. But also, is there a choice? There is a choice. But also, like, am I escapism? Am I just avoiding hard things? Should I be tougher? Maybe. But also, why should I be so tough on myself? Do I not deserve grace and kindness and gentleness? Is it normal to cry after work? It probably isn't. But also, am I just a crier? Who can tell? I don't like in the video of me crying, I also talked about how I don't like myself right now. I gained weight, which is not something I should be hating myself for, but it feels like one of the signs that I'm deteriorating rather than growing, because I've stopped going to the gym consistently, and I can't find the energy to go to the gym consistently. I wanted to get 10 pull-ups this year. I can barely do one now. But yeah, I watched a lot of things happened. I watched a lot of first things. First time going to the ER. like by myself, I think, in Singapore. First therapy session, first time having a surgery in Singapore, first time going to Vietnam, first actual hangover after drinking 3.5 bottles of soju, first time visiting a national gallery, first time going to a concert by myself. I got tickets for a Le Seraphim concert in August. Really, really fun. First time going to Chicago slash America slash a new continent. First time seeing snow. And yeah, I think really quite a few things that happened this year. Watched a few animes, some shows. Watched Severance season 2 back in March. Holy shit, that was so good. I didn't read any books this year. At least not really. I watched a bunch of movies though, especially in May. I watched like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 movies in May. And then I didn't watch any in June. And in July I watched a few more. August 1. Oh, the first time I watched the movie Outdoors was in August. There was an event in Singapore. And yeah, I watched a movie in the US, in Chicago. That was really good. It's called Two Sleepy People by American Baron. His name is Baron Ryan. I don't know, but his Instagram account is called American Baron. It was really good. Finished one K-drama this year, which is When Life Gives You Tangerines. Cried so hard. IU. I did finish a few books. I finished 2 comic books. There's this Holocaust comic, which is was gonna get thrown out by my library in uni, but I managed to finish reading it in like a day. Yeah, I can't believe the only books I finished reading was freaking comics. That's so crazy. Okay, a number of first dates I went in 2025 up until today. If we don't count, okay, let's just like one-on-one first dates. I had nine first dates in 2025. A few that kind of developed into something, a couple of things, like a couple that developed into something, but also not really. But yeah, it's crazy that I went for 9 first dates this year. But that's not counting like one where I just hung out with a group of people, random people by the way, random strangers at a Hinge Date's house. Who am I? Who is this? And I got drunk at their house and I was knocked out. I fell asleep. And I mean, luckily I woke up eventually and then I got a Grab home. But who is this? Who is this girl who got knocked out? As in like I drank too much and fell asleep. Who got drunk at a stranger's house and fell asleep on their floor? Who is that? I feel like I'm acting out. I never do this. I feel like I've been saying that I never do this a few times this year. But also like early 20s. I don't know if I am too trusting as a person, but also I strongly believe that people should be trusted. Like the default should be that I am able to trust people and that I'm not gonna get scammed or anything. But that's also naive in a sense. I just look at the world of love. Is that so wrong? Probably not. Anyway, this video has reached 45 minutes, which is crazy. I know there's a lot of pauses here and there, but I guess the reflections for this year, I want to be a better person next year. I think I've done pretty good, but there's room for improvement in terms of taking care of myself, going to the gym, exercising more consistently, just take walks. Also, like, getting out of a shitty environment. It's not that my work environment is bad, it's just that I think the work is really not for me. And being honest with myself is one of the feedback I've received. I also met some new people this year. Someone said I'm friendly. Am I friendly? I have no idea. I have no idea until people perceive me. What's the theme for next year? This year's theme was Year of Healing, and I feel like I didn't do much healing aside from the short therapy stint that I went on earlier in the year. I don't, oh my gosh, think about the theme for next year. I was gonna reflect on the whole theme thing. This is a really long video. Yeah, I should reflect on my theme. And nothing much law. I don't know what next year's theme should be. I guess year of routine, year of stability. Year of stability, question mark. Year of peace, because I feel like the past 2 years have been roller coasters for me, and I don't want that anymore. So maybe year of stability / year of peace. Not sure what that would entail. But yeah. It's Christmas. It's 12:12 a.m. on 25th of December. Merry Christmas, everyone. I realized I didn't even talk about this year. Like, I moved into a new place in June. This is my new place. I have some posters up. Oh my gosh, let me show you guys. I'm a bit stupid because I have no idea how to, like, you can't swap video. We're gonna do a dual capture. Okay, hopefully I have edited this nicely. These are some prints I got from one of the conventions in Suntec. It says, "What if things work out? Bless this cat." And also, "Life is soup and I am forked," which honestly, two very opposite sentiments. So got this poster from Chicago. It's of the MRT, not MRT. It's not called MRT. It's called CTA, Chicago Transit Authority. CTA trains. Their map is quite interesting because they have a loop in downtown, and there's words to describe, I guess, the stuff. These are some stickers I got from my high school best friend. Shout out, my friend. I love these stickers. I'm very, very glad. I'm very, very glad my friend made me buy a wardrobe from IKEA so I can stick all these things on my wardrobe. Thank you. Shout out to my friends. I also got this poster from a indie band. Indie, I'm not sure. It's called Foxtrot. And this is from one of their EPs, I think. It's, "Hey man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for a good time for a long time." Very cool. I loved the goldfish, like the contrast of this goldfish to the whole blue kind of, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the fish. And there's a sticker from, I forgot what this place called. This burger place where they sell, I don't know, I don't remember, but cool place. Like, the stickers from their burger that I took home, and I'm surprised the sticker is actually quite good. I got a pull-up bar. I got some bands here. I haven't done a lot of pull-ups. this is my whiteboard right now. I got a whiteboard to stick to my wardrobe, and I got some markers and this clock. I love my clock. It's I don't know what's it called, but like it's stuck to my whiteboard. Let's turn on the lights here. Hi. Okay, so let's take a look at my whiteboard. I have a shopping list that I haven't cleared out yet. I'm thinking of buying a keyboard, as in typing keyboard, but also the piano keyboard because I miss playing the piano. I need a CD player because I bought a CD from the concert, but I don't have a player to play it. And this is a card I got from Chicago, one of the Museum of Contemporary Art. It's from an exhibit about Yoko Ono, which is very cool. 1963 is the year my dad was born. So yeah. Bean magnet, obviously, very cool. It's shiny bean magnet. Apparently it's called Cloudgate. The actual name of the bean is called Cloudgate. But no one calls it Cloudgate because it's the bean. Okay, let's take a look at what I've written. First one, law of equivalent exchange from Full Metal Alchemist. I think one of the things my friend told me about, what if you want something, you need to give something of the same value in return to get it. So for example, if you wanna get fucking fit, you need to fucking go to the gym. So I think I needed a reminder of that. Second one, how you spend your days is how you spend your life. I've had this quote everywhere for quite a while since I learned about it, which is in 2020. Was it in 2020 during COVID, I think? Yeah. Third one, being kind to everyone includes being kind to yourself. That's what I figured out in August. Fourth is a question, what's the definition of failure? It's something that one of my friends told me about when I was thinking about my job. He was saying that if there's no definition of failure, there's no definition of success. So what do I do in my job? Like, what's the definition of failure in my job? If I don't have a clear definition for that, then I also can't define success. Yeah. And I also wrote down this word that I learned, banality, don't know how to pronounce it. The Chinese is called pingyong, which means like common, I think. Yeah. Writing words on a whiteboard, like new vocab on a whiteboard, reminds me of my childhood a lot. Not my childhood, early teen years, because my dad used to do the same thing. I used to have a lot of whiteboards at home because my dad's a tutor. So we have whiteboards at home for classes, and we would write down like stuff on the whiteboard on the sides. So whenever students come in, they can see it and they're reminded of it sometimes. So yeah, I really like whiteboards, if you can't tell. Okay, some quotes here as well. 他人即地狱，彼此即天堂. It's a quote from, I forgot who, but hell is other people, but then like the counterpart, heaven is each other. That's something to think about. The Sisyphean task of understanding your own feelings. This is something I wrote after I was trying to process some of my feelings, I think, and it just felt like it's such a chore, but it has to be done in a sense. And lastly, this is the most recent quote. I forgot when I wrote it, but it's quite recent. No love, however brief, is wasted. No love, however brief, is wasted. I don't know how to feel about that. But yeah, this is my room. It's very messy right now. I have my live poster with me. Let's look at the updates. There is not much updates. I did write something new. Be more honest to myself. Live a little. Oh my gosh, don't zoom in. Oh, okay, sorry. Yep. It says, be honest to myself. Don't live a little. This whole year, I can't really see anything. What the hell? Okay, anyway, that's my calendar. These are flowers from my mom. Oh, I got this picture of myself with president of SUTD on my graduation day. I got some comics. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Many things have happened this year, many changes. A lot of tears. I hope that next year I cry less. See how it goes. Okay, so I just finished editing. When I say editing, I just mean stitching things together and removing some of the pauses. The video, and I think I have today's the 28th of December, which is 3 days after I recorded. It's Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. There's work tomorrow, and I guess after I have a better view of what my theme would be, I just wanted to mention my year of healing included some form of healing that I wasn't really looking out for, but it was kind of healing anyway, which is a conversation I had with my sisters on who I am, as in how I interact with them, and I guess my relationship with them. What I realized is that they really just don't care that much. Not in a bad way, but they just don't have as many feelings as me, which is not a bad thing. Not to say it's a bad thing, but I think knowing that really helped me with, I guess, understanding our dynamics and coming to terms with how our relationship is, how it is. So yeah. And also, okay, the theme for this year, next year for 2026, I think will be stability / routines, which is what I had mentioned earlier in the video. What that would entail would be, I guess, financial stability. I would like to save more money next year, because this year I didn't really save that much. I keep spending money on flights and whatever shit not. So saving money, and also I guess finding a sustainable routine for myself in terms of going to the gym more often and relying less on motivation and more on discipline when it comes to routines, because I feel like my gymming, the non-existence of a gym routine in the second half of this year has been largely tied to the fact that I have been relying on motivation rather than discipline, meaning I keep trying to find energy, or like, oh, I want to go to the gym and therefore I go to the gym. So instead of relying on the want, it will be more of, I guess, being a disciplined person. So yes, I don't want to make this too long because the video itself is already quite long. So yes, 2026, hopefully it's my year. I keep saying this. Next year, please be more peaceful, more stable, more routine in my life, more good habits. Sure, I would like fun things once in a while, but not in a way that is out of character, ? Not in a way that will put myself in situations that is conventionally seen as dangerous. Anyway, thank you for listening to Mediocre Thoughts.